They all had fun. They all had, but I mean, you had 11, 8, and 6-year-olds, so it was a good time.
You got beer there, SP?
Yep.
Lucky root beer.
Love root beer.
I like IBC root beer.
It was a present, so.
That was a good present.
Yep. All right. You guys ready to talk some Endless Wonder?
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to the Artie's Attic Warehouse 13 Fancast, where a steampunk girl, a lifelong sci-fi fan, and a rocket scientist chat about the popular 2009 sci-fi series. There's never a dull moment with the agents dedicated to protect humankind from unexplained phenomena that manifest their powers in special objects. And there's all those friendships and relationships along the way. Grab a cookie while you can. Hope you don't smell fudge. Gear up with your Farnsworth, Tesla, and Neutralizer, and let's have some fun by snagging it, bagging it, and tagging it.
Welcome back to Artie's Attic. We're a Warehouse 13 fan cast. I'm the Warehouse 13 janitor, currently giving a detailed warehouse tour to a new region. My name is SP.
Nice.
And introducing Artie's Attic lead agent and historian who calls out her boss for having knowledge he shouldn't have. It's Agent Shannon.
Well, yeah, that's me. That's not something I would do.
Nosy.
What's up, guys? It's called being bossy.
And also joining us is the warehouse agent who rushes into one-night stands in order to recruit a new board director. It's Agent Carolyn.
I mean,
That
you
sounds like you at
told
all.
me to investigate, and I had to investigate, so...
Is she armed?
No, I can guarantee that, well, it wouldn't be a she, but I can guarantee that was not armed.
I see how she caught that there. Yeah. If she just said that to me, we'd have kept right on rolling. But you,
Yeah, you two would have said, she's not armed. I'd be like, no, no, he's not armed. That's fine.
but she didn't like clarify that one night stand kind of thing. But just saying.
Yeah, I'm not really.
We are continuing our Warehouse 13 series discussion with the episode that premiered on Monday, September 10th, 2012, 2.5 years before District Attorney Cecile Horton started her path to be the Flash's stepmom and mother-in-law.
What?
Okay. I never watched the show.
You never watched Flash?
I'm sorry, no.
All right. So the Flash, right? His parents died and he was adopted by
Superman.
by detective, and the detective then
Very much like Superman.
had a daughter who Flash married, and so adopted step siblings.
So his stepsister became his wife?
No, that's
what I was getting out of it.
Right?
That's where you were
but
tracking
Cecilia
it.
Horton married the dad, so it's the stepmom and mother-in-law.
That hurts my head.
Okay.
Wait. Okay, so he crashed on Earth, kind of like Superman.
What? No. It's
No,
the Flash.
the Flash didn't crash on Earth.
The Flash, he was on Earth. He had normal parents. His parents died. He was adopted by a detective. The detective had a daughter.
Okay.
So the daughter and the Flash got married. The detective married the district attorney, Cecilia Horton. So Cecilia Horton then became the Flash's stepmom and also the mother-in-law because she was the mom of the daughter.
I got that. See, I had to use all my genealogy tools. I had to use all my genealogy wits to my head.
Oof.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it was very incestuous.
Well, the only
My brain's spent. Can I go home now?
the only thing I'm going to take away from that is Horton. It's my maiden name.
Forgot about that. You told me a long time ago. Okay, there you go, Horton.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
Well, it's DC, so it's not actually, it's all connected. But anyway, I'm referring to the Warehouse 13 Season 4, 7th episode, Endless Wanderer. The IMDb description reads, Pete and Micah follow the trail of an artifact that seems to make people taller at first, only to cause them to get sick and die later. During the investigation, Pete gets involved with an attractive female drug company associate who ends up suspecting Pete and Micah aren't just plain average Secret Service agents. Meanwhile, Artie, Steve, and Claudia follow up on the investigation of Brother Adrian and the missing artifacts. Carolyn, this was your absolute tippy-top favorite episode of all time.
I don't know if I'll go that far. There was a lot of good stuff in this one. Definitely a lot of great one-liners, a lot of information, a lot of what just happened. A lot of explanation of how regents are hired. I was not aware of how you ever wonder how regents are figured out? The civilian oversight, as he puts it in the end.
First you have to sleep with one of the agents, and then you can move your way up.
He didn't say how regents were hired. He was how agents were hired.
No, he was hiring her as a regent. He wanted to talk to her about being a regent. Yes. I thought it was agent at first too, but upon my rewatch, he said regent.
Ew.
I was like, whoa.
Pete's boss. Should be Pete's boss.
Yeah.
Because she figured stuff out more than him. Well, anybody would figure that out more than him.
Yeah. I did like that part. That was one of my favorite parts was Pete showing her the warehouse after she figured out that they weren't just normal Secret Service
she
agents.
tracked it down pretty good.
Yeah, she's like, I pulled in a lot of favors.
Yeah, Deb Staley, the drug rep, was played by Danielle Nicolette. She has 80 acting credits since 1991, including 3 episodes of Family Members. She was in the 1993 movie Loaded Weapon 1. She was in 42 episodes of Third Rock from the Sun as Karen, and Karen was a student in Dick Sullivan's class. By the way, she was in 1 episode of Stargate SG-1. She was in 1 episode of Angel. She was in 3 episodes of Bernie Mac Show, 9 episodes of Heartland, 10 episodes of The Starter Wife. She voiced Storm in Marvel Anime and X-Men and Marvel video games and Marvel Heroes. She did only 1 episode of Warehouse 13. This is the one and only time we get to see her, which is such a shame.
So we don't know if she actually became a regent or not.
That's right. She could be buried somewhere, right?
Yeah, he could know. He wiped his. He ended up wiping her memory so that Eddie could come back and go, hey.
But most people know her from The Flash, which she played in 107 episodes from 2015 to 2023.
Now
I said before, as The Flash's stepmom.
Now I understand your reference.
I like how at the end, Mr. Kassan's like, put that down. He just has a smirk at Pete because, he's like, Pete's like a toddler. So even Mr. Kassan understands that we're going to keep him. But
oh, man.
Dang, he's annoying.
He was such a toddler and touching things in this one. Oh, my God. His Pete boyishness was very prevalent in this episode. As far as when she said subpoena and he giggled, she's like, no, I grew up with 3 boys. I understand. He's like, it sounded like penis. Just under his voice.
He couldn't hold it in.
He couldn't hold it in. He's like, this sounded like penis.
I like when he was in trouble and he's going to send, Micah, you could go talk to her. He's like, no, you're right. That's not going to be a thing you do for me.
You need to go clean up your own mess. Then she looks at Pete. You're such a slut.
She calls him a slut several times, actually.
Why are you such a slut? Did you sleep with her?
Yeah, when she walked in, she got halfway through the conversation. She's like, that's when she realized that she's still here. I'm just going to leave now.
You slept with her. Well, you told me to investigate her. I can verify she is not holding a gun.
And later, they were talking about, well, normally I'm not that guy. I don't just go off and not call her anything. And she said, well, sometimes I am that guy. And they do the fist bump thing.
Yeah.
But you would have called, right?
Yeah. And then he's like, but you would have called, right? Like a hurt little puppy. Aw, poor Pete.
Poor Pete.
Poor Pete. He
Pete
always
just
gets the girl once.
accidentally. Accidentally. He accidentally got Kelly. Accidentally.
I have a question for you two.
Uh-oh.
Since he divulged the warehouse to Deb, is Deb his one?
No.
Because he was directed by Kusan to give it to him.
Exactly.
It wasn't his choice.
Yeah. That was not his pick. I saw where you were going with that one, but that was not his pick.
He
The moment he raised,
Kusan said to Pete, we have a solution, but it involves you.
Yeah, and then he says, haven't I done enough?
I don't think he was directed. I think it was a, here's an option. Do you want to take it? I think she's his one.
I don't think we can, I don't think they, no.
no,
But I
it
get
isn't
where you're
classified.
going with that. But I don't think that that's his
It
one.
doesn't, no, just because she's his one doesn't mean they have to be in a relationship forever. It's you get one person to tell, and he tells her.
No, I don't think he would have. I tell you who I think his one should have been, and it wasn't Kelly. It should have been his ex-wife.
Yeah.
She understands him more than anybody. Who would have wanted 7 of 9 to be controlling the warehouse?
She was married to
Just
another
saying.
Marine, though.
But you just said it doesn't have to be your romantic one. He's still the one.
Fair.
That's true.
But I do know that he wouldn't intrude on her wish to be with him.
Yep.
And that he wouldn't, as a fellow Marine, he wouldn't undercut the other guy. That's not how Pete's built. So
No.
I think, based
Yeah.
on that, non-romantic relationship with him or
Kusan's
not.
not going to hold this one against him because if Pete was to fall in love and have a romantic relationship with someone else, Kusan's going to still say, you got one.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's a regent rule. I think it's a warehouse rule. Like the warehouse is saying, you get one.
Yeah, but if she becomes a regent, then I don't think that matters. I don't
So
think
then
that
she
this
gets one.
is yeah, then she gets one. But I don't think this one counts as Pete's one. I get where you're coming from with that, but I think that because Kusan was like, okay, well, what are your vibes? His first answer was like, that I'm in a heap of trouble. He's like, no, not your vibes. The vibes about her. She's like, oh no, she's a good egg. He's like, okay. And then the next thing you see is him going, welcome to Warehouse 13. Artie
Now-
does it better.
Micah's smart enough to be a regent.
I don't think she'd want to be a regent, though.
I don't think she would want to either, but I still think she's smart enough for it.
That was one of my, the regent says, well, is she smart? He's like, oh yeah, she's Micah smart. And I thought it was funny, the reveal to the drug company and the senator, the storage space 6.
All right, SB, I know you like to do this. So who was the face I kept seeing? Who was her boss? I've seen his face so many things.
His boss was Stephen Eckhold. I did
No, her
not
boss.
write down.
Her boss.
Yeah, her boss was Gil Moorpark and played by Steve Eckhold. I did not write down anything about. I don't think it was of note. I think the senator would be more.
The senator, I knew his face. Where did I know his face from?
Well, he was played by Chris Klett, Gillett.
Talking about things that sound like something else.
Yeah, I know. That's why I spelled it out.
Subpoena.
He had 64 acting
Penis.
credits, including an episode of Tech War. He was in the 2000 Left Behind movie. Yes, the Left Behind movie with Kirk Cameron. That one, in case
Never
don't
heard
know.
of it.
you have never heard of the Left Behind series.
No.
Okay, so
I
it's definitely
think
religious
so.
based, but there's science fiction involved because it's dealing with the revelations, basically the apocalypse that happens at the end of the Bible.
I think I've heard about it, but I never watched it.
There's been a couple of iterations. This was the 2000 iteration. It was one with Kirk Cameron. Matter of fact, I think Kirk financed a lot of it.
Left behind, as in you're not the chosen one. You don't get to go.
But
Yeah.
you're not. You're
that
not.
would suck.
After the second coming, you're not chosen.
Yeah,
You
you're
were
not a
left behind.
believer. But there's this whole. I mean, there's a whole book series, and it goes into exactly what would happen all the way up to the end and everything. It was a fascinating read because it was a fictional depiction on what is laid out to happen in the Bible. So if you're not religious, it's a good story, basically.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyways.
he was also in an episode of Nikita. He was an episode of Lost Girl, 1 episode of Warehouse 13, 3 episodes of The Handmaid's Tale, and this is for Carolyn,
Do-do-do-do.
1 episode of The Expanse. He played in the season 4 premiere. He was Father Caesar.
I probably have seen
Probably
him
where
Lost
I know
Girl.
his face. But
Probably.
where I noticed him from. Was he in any Hallmark?
Yes, tons.
Okay, that's probably where I noticed him more.
Yeah, The Wedding Planners TV series. He was in one.
Mm.
I'll Be Home for Christmas, A Perfect Christmas.
Oh, yeah, I've probably seen him
So-
in all of those. That's probably why I recognize his face. Yeah,
All right. So
Hallmark movies.
I'm going to find the other guy for you.
But my girl was in this episode.
Who's your girl? For anybody new to the show, who's your girl?
For anybody who does not know me,
I mean, we have listeners that may not know, so you have to inform them
Jamie Murray,
who
Mm.
plays.
H.G. Wells.
Yes. Yeah, that was the person that Artie was calling to find the dagger. So I have a question. Okay, H.G. Wells is the person that's trying to find this dagger. And she's deciding, or she's figuring out what Artie has done. What has she been doing? Like, has she been snag bagging and tagging somewhere
She's
else?
been hunting it down. She's been trying
Well-
to figure out where it's gone, what's happened to it, who last used it, and
The
what does
dagger,
Mr.
maybe.
Frederick knows.
The dagger, yes. But what else has she been up to? Like, she's no longer captive. So what
Right.
else have they been? What else has she been up to? Like, she's been absent for several episodes. So what has she been up to other than looking for this dagger? And, because as she said, she has a bit of an unhealthy obsession with time travel that got her into trouble.
I think it has been unsettling to her for the fact that it didn't sit right with her whenever he automatically
Yes.
knew
Yes.
from the previous episode. What was that? That was New Hope, right?
It was the beginning of this episode. Yep. Mhm.
No. When Sykes, that was the end of 3.
Oh, that
beginning
was the end of last
It's the
season.
first season of
Mhm.
the first episode. First
Try that
episode,
again?
season 4.
Yes.
Short victim. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It didn't sit well with her because she's like, how did you already know that? Because if you remember that episode, she's like, but how do you know that? But how do you
Yeah.
know that?
Yeah, I
And
knew
he
she was
didn't
going to
answer.
pick up on that. And Artie sits down in the chair and he's like, who have you told? She's like, I told Mrs. Frederick. He's like, his eyes got really
Oh,
big
no.
as saucers.
What have you
like,
done?
and all you hear in the background is brother Adrian, whoever you tell is going to be in grave danger.
Technically, he didn't tell her.
Yeah.
No, he has
He-
not said
she
anything.
figured it
This is
out.
it's all speculation right now.
I mean, at the moment, she hit it square on. I mean, she figured out, I think you used the astrolabe. I'm like, well, that's my girl. She's so
Yeah.
smart.
She figured it out. Yeah, she figured it out. So
I mean, come on. If
Trouble
Micah
now.
had known about it, she would have figured it out already, too.
oh
Put
yeah,
them
totally.
together, yes. Baring
Micah
and Wells
and-
would have figured it out.
Bearing
Wells
and
and
Wells.
Bearing.
Wells and Bearing.
That's a
That's
nice
their
one.
official name. That's the
Nicely
name.
played. Nicely
That's the
played.
name that they chose. Yeah. So I did find the Honorable Steve Eckhold, by the way. He's been in 85 things over the course of many, many years, going back to 1985. But you might have seen him in a few things.
Few?
One of which, 10 episodes of the original Melrose Place. I don't know if you watched that or
Nope.
not. Okay,
Nope.
that's all right. There's more here. Wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Definitely. He was in 26 episodes of a series called It's Like You Know. I don't remember that at
I don't know
all.
what that is.
Okay. 6 episodes of Friends as Mark Robinson.
Okay.
And like that. He was in 5 episodes of The West Wing as Doug Weston.
Mm.
He
Probably
was
saw
in-
him there.
8 episodes of The L Word. And
I know I am, but no.
But
This has got to be a sci-fi related for me to know.
he's been in some Hallmark stuff too. So
Mm.
Or maybe this has one of those faces.
He was
Yeah.
in the 1999 movie Message in a Bottle.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Okay, I give up.
Okay.
I'm not a chick flick kind of gal. I don't know.
You might
I
have
mean,
to
I
be.
only watch Hallmark if it has my Catherine and Catherine. So
Well,
Catherine Bell or
Carolyn,
Cat.
I do have a question for you.
Mm.
Did you recognize the lab tech at the end? You know that they were trying
Which
to
one?
find-
The one that
the one that was talking.
the one that was talking and asked Micah asked, what did he touch? And he
Yep.
says everything but the chicken. Everything but the chicken. His face was familiar, but I could not tell where from.
All right. Shannon, you have that awesome facial recognition. Did you recognize him?
I don't remember what he looked like at the moment. I know he's blonde.
Okay. He played in 15 episodes of this series that I know you might have picked up from time to time, Defiance. He was
Who?
both Ben, Amanda's assistant at the
Castithan.
beginning, and Sergeant Free Poole.
He was the Castithan, wasn't he?
He played two characters. He
Mm.
played Sergeant Free Poole, Frei Poole, and he was one of the deputies.
Huh. I need to do a Defiance rewatch.
Don't we all? Yes, we do.
Don't we all?
For those of you that
Don't
don't
we
know,
all?
Shannon and I did a podcast way back when, 10 years ago on Defiance called Voices of Defiance. Voices of Defiance is still available, so you can listen to your
really-
heart's content.
Really
We had some
good
awesome
podcast.
interviews.
I still have the
Did.
link on my X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
We had really good interviews.
Yeah, you had all kinds of great interviews.
We saw Jamie Murray. It was see how we just did that. We just brought right back around.
right back to Warehouse
Yeah,
13.
Jamie Murray. She came in the back door.
Oh,
I'm just gonna leave that there.
She snuck in the back door, you might say.
no, she
That
knocked
doesn't
on
make
the
it
back
better.
door. She did knocked on the back door.
That doesn't make it. Just stop.
I had to because I knew what it'd do to you. So it was a necessary evil.
Yeah,
I mean, it was.
brings a whole new meaning to the word endless wonder. No. Okay, see, I had to.
Yep. Touche.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Before she showed up, though, this episode was full of good dialogue. I
Oh,
couldn't
man.
pinpoint just one thing. It was just and it's not just one character. It was all characters, and I have to attribute that to the writer of the episode, who was Bob Goodman. And Bob, we've seen his work before.
Lots of stuff. Yeah.
He's written 8 episodes of Warehouse 13, including
Mm.
my favorite, 321.
Mm.
But he also did Secret Santa, Around the Bend, Shadows, and Implosion. We have 2 more episodes for him. Season 4, episode 15, and season 5, episode 2.
Yeah,
15 as
it
an
was
instinct.
some really good
That's right,
writing.
Instinct. Amazing.
So 3, 2, 1 had Jamie in it. This one had Jamie in it, and Instinct has Jamie in
Look at her brain go. Watch out, world.
it. Hey, it takes a special kind of something. I don't know. You know,
It takes a Jamie Murray.
she smelled nice. That's all I can say. That's all I can remember. Right? I've died twice since then, but man, she smelled good.
The director, by the way, was Michael McMurray. Not Jamie Murray, but Michael McMurray. He has 33 producing credits since 1990, including Tech War, the TV movie, a couple episodes of La Femme Nikita, 23 episodes of Earth Final Conflict,
Ooh,
3
like that show.
webisodes of Warehouse 13 called Of Monsters and Men. We've talked about it before.
those were good.
I have a link for those. I have to remember where I find it.
I sent it to you.
He sent it to us.
37 episodes of Warehouse 13 from season 2 through season 5 as the director of photography. So he has been in this for quite some time. He's also done 8 episodes of Covert Affairs and 8 episodes of
Ooh.
Reacher. He only has 4 directing credits, and that includes 2 episodes of Warehouse 13. We will see him again, season 5, episode 5. So the penultimate episode is his.
Covert Affairs. That was a good movie or show too. I like that show.
Yeah.
I found it that there was other lines that were good when they were when they were trying to figure out what was making everybody tall, and Pete and Micah were on the Farnsworth with Artie, and they said, "What are you doing, Artie?" He says, "I'm organizing my wire collection." He's trying to fix the system.
Artifact detection system.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Micah or Claudia comes up and goes, "What are you doing?" Scares him half to death.
I think it's at this point in time in this episode that he realizes that he doesn't have to tell everybody what's going on, but he needs their help. So he gives the phone number to Claudia to figure out, right?
After he says,
She
"I've
does
met
it
my
in
sharing
seconds.
quota for the day."
Artie, I don't speak mumble.
Artie, I don't speak mumble.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. The whole interaction between the three of them.
Yeah.
It's hard not to link the three of them because you have a Jinx who is dependent on the metronome. You have Claudia who is linked to Jinx. And then you have Artie who's trying to protect mainly Claudia, I think, but all of the agents, right? So he's really involved in this. And then he's got this astrolabe thing over his head, and he knows he cannot use it again to revert things. I forget how this is all resolved, but it's probably coming up.
Yeah, I'm getting excited to remember how this is resolved because I can't remember either. I did
I
find
can't
it.
either.
I
But then
did
again, I
find
have
it
excuses, but you know.
funny when they went to the abandoned place where brother
Adrian.
Thank you. Brother Adrian was supposed to be because, Claudia did digging and she found out who it was. And Artie's like, "How do you know that?" She's like, Google searched. Claudia knows things. Just don't ask. Claudia knows things. But they were
She knows
looking
an awful
for.
lot of things.
Yeah. She uses
My
the
favorite
Google.
line that's my favorite line he says.
Which one?
We know an awful lot of things about it. Awful lot of things.
Yeah.
It's so data. My God, I can't get that.
Well, yeah.
It's so
They're in this, house searching for brother Adrian, and Jinxies falls up the stairs, and Claudia says, "Wait, you got to be careful. You're falling for two now." And then they find him. Well, he makes himself look like Artie because he steals the thimble of Harriet Tubman after they get it online. So they get the detection online, and they notice that Harriet Tubman's thimble is missing. And Claudia's like, "Wait, that's not Artie. Look, there's the thimble." And then Artie is facing brother Adrian, and he says, "Do you have it in you to shoot yourself?" He says, "Well, it wouldn't be the first time."
Good to know.
I would definitely shoot myself. I mean, like, you're just wearing a thimble. I don't care what you look like.
Yeah, he says, "Finally, some honesty."
I mean, he shot himself whenever he shot at Jamie. Well, HG shot himself in the shoulder.
Yep.
Wouldn't be
He
the
can
first
handle
time,
it.
right?
Wouldn't be the first time, yeah.
I did like Pete when he made a reference at the beginning of the episode to Commander Data.
Yes, I saw that. Oh, yeah, I heard that one too. I was
Like,
going to
that's a
remember
little
to say
insider
that.
there.
Yeah. So that was the first person that they were inspecting that, people are getting taller. The other favorite line from that part was, he's like, "Well, guys, women like men who are taller." And Pete just comes over and he says, "Yeah, well, Tom Cruise is 5'7", so you keep thinking about that."
I would imagine.
Crazy.
I'd imagine by this point in our time with people listening that they all know that when we talked about Data, we're talking about him as a character from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Brent
Yes.
Spiner, yeah.
Brent Spiner.
Brent Spiner.
Who plays brother Adrian here, yeah.
Yes.
Who, I mean, we've talked about that before, how there's so many actors in this series alone. I think we counted six,
Mhm.
7? I think 6. Even Kassan played Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
So, being the fan of Star Trek that I am, I have to make sure I mention that because we may have new people who are like, who the hell are they talking about? We're
Data.
talking about Trek.
Trek.
We're
I
talking about
did.
Trek.
Did you notice how when he was talking, brother Adrian, Brent Spiner, he was saying, "I will keep dismantling your life until you comply." And as soon as he said comply, my brain just went into when he was part of the Borg and he said resistance is futile, you will comply. His voice was the same. And I was like, Data.
His voice is the same wherever he goes. That's
Same
why I keep going
inflections.
back to he plays such a phenomenal bad guy, right? But
does.
he's a great bad character. It's so convincing. But when I said we know an awful lot of things about an awful lot of things, and the way he pauses, that's so Data, like down to the core. It's so Data,
Right? Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
but
lore.
it's freaky
Or
and
lore.
scary. Lore.
Yes.
Yeah, or any one of his, I don't know, ancestors, I guess.
I'm just
that are
I'm
in
just waiting
Picard.
for
Any of
him
the
to talk about
Soons?
Spot. Do you know my cat? Spot.
Spot.
I'm waiting for that pause that he does. So, yes, I'm a Trekkie. I can't help it. I love it.
Shannon, what was your favorite scene in the episode? Did you have one
Jamie.
Jamie.
at the end? Okay, I dig that. Caroline,
You know,
did
honestly, hang on. Honestly, as many times as I've watched this is what I like about it, right? Fourth season is not my go-to season. I always start second, go to the third, and then I'm pretty much done for a while. I don't go back to the fourth season very often. So because of that, it's like a brand new surprise every time we do this because I forgot she was at this end of this episode. And I'm sitting on the bed, I'm like, Jimmy!
and this one did. We've
Yay!
already talked about it. It had phenomenal writing. There was just I was watching it the second and the third time because it's been 2 weeks. I watched it a couple of times all the way through, and the second and the third time I really paid attention to the dialogue. And it was every actor.
Really
it
good.
was really good.
Really good.
And even though this is not my favorite episode ever, it's 3-2-1. It still is. It's still a good episode. And I had problems actually picking out my favorite scene because there's so many good ones. There was Pete's heart to heart with Deb in the warehouse when they were talking about all the medical related artifacts, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good. There was the Pete getting berated by Micah for being a slut. That was
That was good.
that
That's
was
a pretty good
fun,
one.
right? And I think it's the same scene, or it's another like scene. And I had to settle on this one, but not because it was really my favorite, but because it was like barely a favorite on top of a pile of several favorites. It was when they were talking about going to the doctor, and then Pete said, "Maybe you can give me something for my gas." And then Micah's. This is what really sold it to me because I rarely see Micah say stuff like
A
this
joke.
and act
Mhm.
stuff like this. She said, "Pete, he's a doctor, not a magician."
I know. That was, I love that part too.
She rats on him like a brother all the time. She revs him up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm never going to be convinced otherwise that they are romantically involved. I know some people like to do that. I just, because the first 3 seasons, honestly, halfway through this one, I think coming up pretty soon, we're going to see something about her health. I think it's in this season. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's at the end of the half season
Right.
here, so we'll see it before we break for the break.
But you got 3.5 seasons of them being brotherly and sisterly love, and then her always making fun of him, and like he really is like a dog. Like when he licks the cheese
Yeah.
off the.
Or he sticks the tongue depressor in the doctor's office in his mouth and then sticks it back in the cup of tongue
Michael, what did he
depressors.
touch? Would be a better question of what didn't he touch,
What
right? I
did
mean,
he
it's
touch?
it's just she has the best. To me, she has the best one-liners when it comes to talk about Pete.
Mhm.
Or you should get a dog. He really is like a dog, right? I mean, it's
He is like a dog.
We
I
haven't
mean,
seen her ferret in a while. Do we see the ferret again at all?
little Pete disappeared.
Okay.
yeah, I think little Pete disappeared.
I think they forgot about him.
Little Pete became Big Pete, huh?
He's in the
See?
wall somewhere.
Even then, she named him because he's annoying, like a brother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess. I've always wondered, it's the Harry met Sally, when Harry met Sally sort of thing. If you have
Yeah.
two, not friends, but two coworkers that work so close together, they literally go through life and death experiences
Mhm.
multiple times. It's a daily thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it eventually would rub off into some sort of romantic coupling just because there's nobody else that you could share that with.
Mm-hmm.
You've been through so much with one person that you would you'd be ruined for anybody else, really.
As long as you swung that way.
I even wonder, if you're marooned on a desert planet. I even wonder, eventually,
Eventually, possibly, maybe.
I just for the record, I don't swing that way.
I mean,
But
hard pass. No, I don't speak that way at all. No. Now, could I be marooned with Micah or HG?
Oh, yeah.
Not Claudia. I would see her as a sister. Micah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably
could be
see Claudia
very
like a
persuasive.
daughter. I'd be, I'm closer to Artie than anybody else in the show, at least. Pete, kind of. I'm just talking in age, closer to
Oh,
Artie.
that's not to say you swing towards Pete. What?
No,
What?
no. Hey, if I swung towards anybody, it would be Chris Hemsworth. Let's be serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair.
Or Chris Evans.
Any of the Chris's, really.
Pine.
I'm sorry, what were we
Chris
talking about?
Pine.
Chris Pine. Oh, we just went into Star Trek again. Minus the Evans.
Yeah. Whee!
And we're bringing it back.
We'll go into my favorite parts. So I loved the same parts that you did, SP. I did really like the part where they're introducing Storage Space 6. I don't know who your source is, but I think they should lose their job. And it was all these like toys, and Jack in the Box goes poing after
I think they
he
were
gets
all
there.
artifacts, though. I think I've seen that
sure
Jack in
they
the Box
probably
before.
were.
Isn't that the second time we've actually seen the store clerk regent?
Who was the guy that opened the Storage Space 6?
He's a regent. We
Is
saw
he?
him. We saw him in Emily Lake.
So yeah, he was in the grocery store. Same guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. He's a grocery store guy. Okay,
I
I was
did
like,
not
I know
pick
his
that
face
up.
from somewhere.
Look at you too.
Well,
so
you're
cute.
my facial recognition.
You're so cute. Yeah, he was the regent from Emily Lake that they had to go
Okay.
in and get the 8-ball.
Okay.
And they
Oh,
used
yeah.
the pin,
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, but why cat?
Some of the other ones were, they go into the doctor's office and they're wanting to see the doctor that prescribed this heartburn medication because they're thinking that's what's making people grow exponentially and eventually die.
You just wanted to say that word.
Grow exponentially?
Yes.
It is a really good word. I like that word. Exponentially.
Yes.
They Pete is explaining why they get to go see the doctor before everyone else is in line because the representative is like, hello, we're all waiting for this guy. Why do you get to go? And Mike is like, Pete, explain. He looks at he says, everybody, official business, badge, gun, chin.
That was a good line. That was a good one.
Badge, gun, chin. I did not see. I mean, there was some food in this one. Pete hadn't eaten anything, and when he saw the burrito, he looked at Micah. Says, can we get Mexican? She says no. Without even missing a beat, she's like, no, Pete, no.
Well, that was always my standard answer from my partner in the armored van. No. Don't do it. I can spend 10 hours with you in this van. No.
That's valid.
Yes.
There was a lady that did matcha or masca, or it was a Mediterranean food. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I didn't.
Suki.
Masuki.
Masuki.
Okay.
It started with
All
an
I'm
M.
thinking is the musketeer. Like,
It started with an M.
Muska.
I'm thinking it's Three
Mickey Mouse.
Musketeers. Give me one of those candy bars. It's almost Halloween, man. I've been so good.
That was
good.
what I was thinking. Muska. Mickey Mouse Club. Sorry, I have kids. That's what was stuck in my head.
There was a lot of artifacts in this episode too. When they were trying to figure out what was making people grow, Micah was like, Paul Bunyan's axe. What was the second thing? There was like two things. Paul Bunyan's axe, something else, and then
The beans from Jack
the
and the
beans
Beanstalk.
from Jack and the Beanstalk. Now, Artie says, we have both of the other two, and beans, please. That's just a myth.
Nice to know where we draw the line.
Nice to know where we draw the line. Yes.
There was the Marvel, the Rhodes Marvel, the Rhodes Marble Bowl. That's what the Colossus of Rhodes. You guys know the history of the Colossus of Rhodes?
I do not. I was wondering what that was. Apparently, it makes people grow taller for some reason.
Colossus was a titan, I believe, in Greek mythology.
Yeah, but the Colossus of Rhodes was a statue in Rhodes.
Is it?
And it was erected because it was a celebration of the protection of the town from an invasion. But if I remember correctly, and I could be mistaken, I think it came down in like an earthquake.
Isn't it one of the 7 wonders?
It might have been.
Because I know that the statue at the bay of the harbor of Alexandria was one of them too, I think.
But why does it make people grow taller?
Yes,
because
you're
it's
right.
a statue?
The Great Pyramids, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the statue of Zeus at Olympia, the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus.
Easy for you to say.
EPH. So Ephesus.
Euphrates.
Sure.
Euphrates. No, Ephesus. The mausoleum at, oh my goodness, Halicarnassus. Whatever. My apologies. I just have problems reading these words. Colossus of Rhodes and the Lighthouse of Alexandria were the 7 ancient
That's 2
wonders
of them.
of the world. Now, there's...
Who's the history person here?
You, duh.
Yeah.
I did like that Artie found the golden railroad tie to help the people that were growing exponentially.
Spike from the Transcontinental Railroad, the spike that completed the railroad. It helps pull or hold things together.
Exactly. That could buy them a couple of hours.
Same artifact.
It wasn't gold. I was thinking that too. The one that was in the hole that
one, on the train station, right?
Yeah, but that was different because it caused him to get like black lung until she bagged it. So it was a railroad tie. Yeah, it was. I thought of that same one when I saw it, and it was a railroad tie, but it was a railroad tie that caused Pete to get like black lung, and he was suffocating until she snag bagged and tagged.
The Mary Mallon's butcher knife, I think, was the other one that you were talking about.
That's what he showed her.
Yeah.
No, that's what he showed her. So I'm trying to think of the other one with Paul Bunyan's
Paul Bunyan's. Yeah, I can't think of it. Our listeners should be able to. They're probably screaming at the podcast going, it was this, it was this, it was this.
Right. So there was the threshold that they found in the abandoned house, right?
Yes.
The thimble. Was there a Tesla rifle in this one? I think there was.
Yes.
Yeah, they both had Tesla rifles as they were searching the house.
Jinx has it.
Jinx and Claudia had it.
The butcher knife, the Zothroscope, capable of mind transference.
That was the thing that, screwed up
throat bit,
Renee's
the
brain.
other Star Trek character.
Odo's
Invincibility raincoat, that was another one in the health aisle.
Caused you to become a serial killer.
King David's slingshot.
And then the medical
staff. Yeah, the medical staff that made her say, well, that was the actual one, and to
also,
do no harm, I should
the mythology.
I should not to let anyone know.
King David's slingshot was the other one that was mentioned because it's growth related.
That was it.
Yes.
And then the beans.
Yes. And then the beans. Please, that was
Greek mythology. There's a lot of Greek mythology in this one.
Beans.
Also, this happened. Love Greek mythology.
I like Greek mythology too. But yeah, it was really fun to watch and very touching to watch Pete understand and not be as childlike and understand, yes, we have these things and we could have cured your dad, but you would have had to give it to somebody else. She's like, okay, so we don't use these things. He's like, okay, but how do you show them one thing, but not show them all the other things? Can you guarantee me that your boss won't just want to use all of these things for his own profit and for his bottom line? Can you guarantee that?
The next boss and the next boss.
Exactly. Can you guarantee that? And she was thinking about it for a while because, she let it be known that her dad died of Parkinson's disease. So she wanted to cure that, and she wanted to be able to cure things, which is very noble and it's very amazing. But it was nice to see Pete being very
Mature about
touching and saying, no, I mean, I get what you're saying. Yes, we could have cured your dad, but we would have had to give it to somebody else. And she then sees the staff, the doctor's staff. I forget what it's called. One that has a snake around it.
Are you talking about the artifact? The rod of Suppleus?
Yeah, that thing. And a Sepius. A Sepius?
ASCLEPIUS.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And she said, well, the first oath is do no harm. So that's why she decided she would show them Storage Space 6 instead of Warehouse 13.
Oh, by the way, the regent that we were talking about was played by Jeffrey R. Smith.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's in a total of 6 episodes. This is one of them. He will be in another one in season 4 and 2 in season 5. And he plays Mr. Keeler is his character's name.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Keeler. Interesting.
Keeler.
So I think it was you get to see a lot of cool things. And Claudia, as soon as she finds the bowl and she says, okay, close your eyes, zap. And he starts shrinking. And he's, how did you do that? Well, I didn't do anything. Just have him drink a lot of water. We'll hydrate it. Yeah, just hydrate.
So as far as Endless Wonder goes of how I would rank it, I couldn't get it above Buried. And Buried is number 15 on the list. So I put 15. It at 16. I think the one thing that would have changed is if Deb came back as a regent and was part of a continual storyline, that world building would have lifted this one up beyond Buried. But I just couldn't get it beyond Buried.
I wonder if we would have had more than just 5 seasons if she would have been in more.
Which one was Buried?
Buried was the one where they see the warehouse from Egypt.
Oh,
the end of season 2.
Where they have burying
season
in wells.
2, episode
saving
11.
The world.
End of season 2.
Yeah.
Burying in wells, saving the world.
I don't know if she would have come back, though, because she did start The Flash in 2015. So, and that rolled all the way up to last year, 2023. That was a long running series.
I mean, you never know. We won't ever know, but there was another line that was very actually kind of good for what happens later when Brother Adrian causes a collapse of a room that's supposed to trap Claudia and Jinx, but he got the warning from
Artie,
thank you. See, brain. I don't know. Just
sometimes it works.
Sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's like,
history. I got it. Tell you what I did earlier today.
Artie runs down there to see the room destroyed. No, it's fine, Obi-Wan. Breathe, Obi-Wan. We're okay. We heard your message. And he says, well, I couldn't bear to have you be buried alive again. And Claudia's like, wait, what? And then he says, why do you only hear me when I don't want you to? But he slips up there and she's like, buried again?
I know she's curious. And I'll throw this in here. Even though they want to help him, they respect what his boundaries are here.
For now.
Well,
she's because they left, and after he said, I don't want your help anymore, there's just some things you can't do. Claudia's like, okay. And they're leaving, and Jinx says, we're not done. She's like, not by a mile.
No, but I think we want to help you, not we want to know what's going on. Because
true.
If you're dealing with artifacts, you got to know there's some lines you just don't want to cross.
That's true.
Well, I think Claudia's always going to cross those lines because she's curious, and by nature she's in, and she's not wrong. She could help. She would be able to solve it. He just doesn't want her to because he knows she's going to, but she's going to cross those lines. Knock, knock, knock. Yeah, she crossed those lines.
Yeah. She's already proven she will cross lines.
They may be obedient warehouse agents, but I think even Micah, as the obedient one as they all get, I think Micah would cross those lines to figure out what the hell's going on with Artie. Because she doesn't like being A, she doesn't like being lied to. B, if she can't trust you, because we've already had that episode where they had their beef, right?
Yep.
if I can't trust you to tell us what's going on to keep us all safe, then what's going on? Because your lie is affecting all of us.
Has
I think
Artie
Micah-
lied to them, though? I don't
He has
think
not lied. He has omitted
has-
truth,
Yes.
but he has not lied. He just hasn't given them the full picture.
And in the
because he
last
can't.
episode, you already saw that Micah was pissed off that he done it. So, yeah, I think she would get to the bottom of it, too.
I'm sure they will all get to the bottom of it. I mean, Mrs. Frederick now knows that she thinks that the astrolabe has been used. So they're going to have
And
to
I'm
solve
sure
this soon.
Right, and I'm sure now that HG said something to her, I'm sure that they together have been investigating just when was this used, where is it located, and who is Brother Adrian. I'm sure they figured that out.
Secret Society of the Black Diamonds. It's funny that he's a part of a secret society of the Black Diamonds, yet Claudia was able to find him. Not so secret.
No, it's a secret. She Googled them.
She Googled
What they
it.
do is probably secret, right? Not necessarily who they are. It's hard to hide
True.
who you are. Today, so for those that don't know, I do a podcast on podcasting called Better Podcasting. And what a lot of people wanted to do 10 years ago or so is podcast anonymously. And fast forward to today.
Podcast anonymously?
Yeah. So they didn't want their bosses to know, their work to know. They didn't want the authorities to
make
know in some
that?
cases.
So, don't want everyone to know the kind of podcasting that happens in this room when I'm not here.
that sort of thing, right? So some people
You
would
don't
want
want
to
those
hide
kind
that.
of podcasts getting out.
Yeah, some
Those
people
podcasts.
Those kind of podcasts.
some people would want to hide that from their work. For instance,
I get that.
the people that are involved in that podcast that you're referring to don't care if their work knows, but
No.
which I think
They
should be the
celebrate
case.
it.
But I guess that's my point: is that it is so easy to find somebody these days to do voice recognition, to do transcripts of all the podcasts and everything. You're not going to be able to
True.
podcast anonymously.
Well,
So this secret society is made up of people, and those people cannot be anonymous. They're findable. They're identifiable. They are known who are their associations are. It's known that they're part of it, basically.
yeah.
But what they're doing is not necessarily known.
Okay, I get that. Did you see? I think I sent it to USB, the podcast about two people that were actually AI generated that were actually making a podcast.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
big now.
AI is making a
Information to-
podcast?
Notebook.
together?
It's Google Notebook LLM, and it's been known to you can feed it subject matter, and two people will make a podcast.
So you could actually be AI generated and do a podcast
Think
and not
eventu-
actually exist.
Well, see, I think eventually a lot of these like reaction shows that we're doing right now will be automated. So they will feed it the episode. They'll feed it the background information that we kind of go over,
How
the
sad.
IMDb's, the history, and that sort of stuff, and they will automatically create a reaction. Matter of fact, in the future,
That'll be
some of the
sad.
stuff that you watch is going to be AI generated, and that's what that big huge strike was about,
Mm-hmm.
right? Was
I don't
about,
want AI generated stuff.
yeah. What sort of
That's why I always have
competition
my
are you
box
going to get
set.
for these AIs to train on what you're doing? So yeah, it's
I mean-
possible. And I think it's going to put a lot of people out of business. Since we're hobby podcasters, it doesn't really matter.
No.
But somebody could feed all this information into an AI and make a better show than us.
No. We're amazing. Who has the sense of humor that we do? I mean, we all feed off each other so well. That cannot be AI generated. I mean,
Can AI this?
you can't AI this.
The one thing that you can't AI right now is video well.
Remember better.
And that's good. I mean, we do have a video companion to the show on YouTube.
We
So
do.
you can find
So
it.
you can see our funny antics as well as hear us.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're still appreciated. Not all AI is appreciated, but we got appreciated because we have fan email.
We do.
Do.
You got the fan email. Did you read it before you sent it to us?
I did, but then I can't find it anymore.
Okay. I got you.
No,
I got you
I
covered.
got it, but it won't show up on my iPhone. It shows that it's there, but then the content's gone. So I don't know. Brain fart.
I think you got
I think
Lammy.
SP could read it.
Yeah, I got
SP
it.
read it.
Yeah.
Because
So
it's
it was-
pretty amazing.
It's a repeat offender here for our feedback. Jennifer Murphy. She sent us another note. Remember,
From North Carolina.
She was listening to us, and she sent us a note a few months ago, and she hadn't caught up yet, but wanted to give us feedback for where she is. Well, she finally caught back up. So this is her response. So I'm just going to read the whole thing, Jennifer. I hope that's okay with you. I think that's standard operating procedure. If you send us an email, we're going to read it on the air. So
read it.
Unless you put in the subject line, don't read online.
Yeah, then we won't. Okay. Quote, I am finally caught up with the podcast, and I am a bit sad that I have to wait to hear from you guys.
Aww.
Your podcast has been very uplifting during the cleanup of Helene. I'm in Eastern North Carolina, and we have been collecting donations and volunteering to help our friends in the West as they did for us in the past. Time flies quickly when I get to listen to you.
Aww.
One pass note, the part where Pete looks at the baby with tears. I think that he wants the whole family package, and after his disastrous relationship with the vet, Kelly, I believe he thinks Micah would be the best place to get his happily ever after. They are friends, and both are already aware of the dangers. I don't think he loves her at this point beyond friendship, but I think this is where the seed is planted for him. And who could not adore his cuteness?
Oh, you can't. It's too adorable.
Well, not me. Anyway, continuing on.
I'll adore it for everyone. Okay.
Thanks for promoting Leverage. Somehow
such
this
an
was
awesome show.
under my radar when it came out. Just started it, and I was hooked 5 minutes in.
So
also,
I don't think I've watched that.
Thanks for the info on Dragon Con. It's an 8-hour drive, but with the list of guests, I will need to save a bundle to get all the autographs I want.
So much money.
And come to our panel next year. Yeah. If we do one. Last side note, my son auditioned to play Eddie's son in a movie and was so close to getting the part. It went to his good friend, but we will keep auditioning.
That's
I
cool.
miss you guys when you take breaks.
That's cool.
Glad you all take care of yourselves and give yourself time with family and to heal. Warmest wishes from North Carolina, Jennifer Murphy.
Jennifer,
That's so cool.
that
Thank
was
you,
so
Jennifer.
sweet. I'm really glad you're able to listen to us and that you're okay in North Carolina and that you're doing all those things to help other people in North Carolina. We really appreciate your note. I am sure your son will get to play something cool soon. And yes, Leverage is amazing. I think the next season, I think, is coming out soon. Follow Dean Devlin on Twitter. He announces everything. But it's so good. I love it so much. Yes, I need to watch more.
I gotta go watch.
Well, Carolyn's got to watch Orphan Black so that she can really appreciate Starfleet Academy now. Because the star of Orphan Black, the star of She-Hulk, is in Starfleet Academy. That's why I was saying you have to watch it now.
Let's not mention She-Hulk because that did nothing good for her. Okay? She-Hulk did not do favors
until the end.
for her.
The ending was
it was fine until the end. Yeah. I think she was
I thought
fine.
it was a really good show until the end.
Yeah.
But thank you, Jennifer. We really, really, really appreciate you, and we're really glad we give you some glimmer of humor during your week.
Yeah, and thanks for sending all that help to the North Carolina folks. I'm up in Ohio. I've made no secret of it. We were affected by Helene, nowhere near where like Asheville was affected. But I think some of those stories are just coming out now because their communications and power are still coming back online right now. Mm-hmm. So we're not hearing and seeing everything that has affected that region yet. And the freeways going in and out of Asheville, south to north, will still be closed for another year or two as they have to rebuild them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like severing part of the United States because of one hurricane.
Yeah, it's brutal. So we're glad you're safe.
Don't
Jennifer.
drive to Dragon Con. Fly.
Yeah.
No, I'll be driving. We're not going to fly through Atlanta. No, thank you.
Well, I kind of have
That's
to
true.
fly.
Atlanta's
I live
not
on
the
the
best.
other end of the U.S. So
yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah, I ain't driving.
Mm.
No,
I don't want everyone to drive to Florida. No.
I drove to Florida earlier this year.
You did. That was insane.
Cape Canaveral, isn't that where you went? Because they got hit pretty hard with the hurricane.
Yeah, I went to Cape.
This last one.
They got hit. No, I wouldn't say hard. There was some damage, but they were still able to launch the Europa Clipper a couple of days, like a week later, they were able to meet that launch window. So kudos to NASA and everybody involved. I know that they had families that were dealing without power and stuff like that, but they banded together to get the mission off because there's such a tight window to get to places like Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto and stuff like that, that you have to meet those launch windows. And they did. So we'll see in, what is it, 5.5 years? We'll see.
5.5 years. Yep.
5.5, 2030, 2031 before we get data back from that. All right. Anything else from the episode before we transition out?
I think I need to get Mexican.
Okay. So we have our next episode, season 4, episode 8, Second Chances. Yes. Very good, Shannon.
Ooh, look at you go.
Were you reading that on the screen, or you don't watch season 4? So,
but now that I remember that Jamie's here, I know that the outcome is that Mrs. Frederick comes in and he gets in trouble.
It's all about the sharing.
All right. Do you want the TVguide.com, the Amazon Prime, or the IMDb?
I never want TV.com. I never want TV. Well,
you still have Amazon Prime or IMDb.
Amazon.
All right. Pete and Micah investigate the case of people literally rusting away in a West Virginia mill town. Steve and Claudia visit his hometown in New Jersey. Why would you want to go to New Jersey? Anyway, in New Jersey, in a bid to end his dependence on the metronome.
Metronome?
Yeah, I'm from Minnesota, and we had the Metrodome for a while, so it is metronome.
You know, the only part of New Jersey that I did not like going through, New Brunswick.
Exit.
Oh, yeah.
New Brunswick.
Exit only?
We were...
Yeah, that's a joke for New Jersey is you're driving through New Jersey, which exit?
New Brunswick. We were driving from New Brunswick up to Staten Island, and this whole place has a horrible smell. I don't know where she drove us over, what bridge, what was dead underneath us. I don't know, but it smelled bad.
It's probably an alcohol plant. All right. That's it for this week. We will be back next week. At least nobody's told me they won't. So you will get another episode next week. And until
I have no trips to Florida. Damn it.
I might have a trip, I think, to DC coming up. So we might have to talk about that. But until next time.
I love DC.
I know you do. I'm the janitor, SB.
I'm Sci-Fi Girl.
I'm Ocean 363. Oopsies.
Stop touching everything, Carolyn.
Sorry, I'm going to break everything. Sorry.
DC's like, my precious.
Thanks for joining us for an episode of the Artie's Attic Warehouse 13 Fancast. You can find all our episodes at warehouse13fancast.com. If you'd like to contact us, you can hit us up on our email at warehouse13fancast@gmail.com. We are a part of the Lone Wolf Podcast Network. You can hear more of this cast and other shows like it by checking out lonewolfpodcasts.com. The intro music is Sci-Fi Hybrid Intro by Soundmake, and the outro music is Science Fiction by Tunes to Go. Both were purchased on pond5.com.
And yeah, my girl came back today's episode.
I know. It made me think of you.
I know. See, I've trained you.
Yeah. Hey, I've been trained since Defiance.
She walked in the back door.
Ah, jeez.
Ew, I didn't think about that.
Uh-huh.
Nice. Yeah.
See, I just need SP for that.
I just put a smile on my face.